I've always been drawn to the dark and the unknown. As a man who grew up hearing whispers of strange happenings in the mountains, I've spent years collecting stories from the heart of Appalachia, a region as beautiful as it is terrifying. The Appalachian mountains are ancient, their peaks and valleys steeped in history and folklore. But beneath their serene beauty lies something sinister, something that has haunted the people of this land for generations. These are not just tales told to scare children. They are true stories, accounts of real people who have encountered the evil that lurks in these hills. What follows are 6 chilling stories that prove Appalachia is a place where the veil between our world and the next is thin, and where evil waits in the shadows. It all began in 1817, in a quiet corner of Robertson County, Tennessee. John Bell, a respected farmer, and his family were plagued by a terror unlike anything they had ever known. It started innocently enough. John saw a strange creature in his cornfield, a beast with the body of a dog and the head of a rabbit. He fired at it, but it vanished into thin air. That night, the Bell family's home was filled with unsettling sounds, scratching, gnawing, and the faint whispers of a voice. At first, they thought it was rats or some other pest, but soon the disturbances grew worse. The entity began to speak, its voice growing louder and more menacing. It sang hymns, quoted scripture, and even conversed with the family. But it wasn't just a disembodied voice. It was malevolent. It targeted Betsy Bell, the youngest daughter, pulling her hair, slapping her, and leaving welts on her skin. Neighbors came to witness the horrors, including James Johnston, who spent a night in the Bell home and left convinced it was an evil spirit. The entity's wrath escalated. It tormented John Bell, claiming it would be the death of him. On December 20th, 1820, John died under mysterious circumstances. The entity had promised to poison him, and indeed, a vial of unknown liquid was found in his room. When given to a cat, the animal died instantly. The Bell Witch, as it came to be known, had claimed its first victim. But the story doesn't end there. The entity returned in 1828, this time focusing on John Bell Jr. It spoke of its origins, claiming to be the spirit of Kate Batts, a neighbor who had died years earlier. It predicted the Civil War and other calamities before vanishing again, promising to return in 107 years, 1935. That year, Dr. Charles Bailey Bell, John Bell's great-grandson, published a book about the haunting, but no clear return was documented. Still, to this day, visitors to the old Bell farm report strange phenomena, faint sounds, flickering lights, and even ghostly figures captured in photographs. I once visited the Bell Witch Cave near Adams, Tennessee, where some say the entity resides. As I stood in the damp, echoing darkness, I felt a chill run down my spine. Was I being watched? Was the Bell Witch still there, waiting for its next victim? I left quickly, but the feeling of being followed lingered for days. In the small town of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, another legend haunts the night. It was November 15th, 1906, when 2 young couples, Roger and Linda Scarberry, and Steve and Mary Millette, were driving through the TNT area, a former munitions plant from World War II. As they passed an old generator plant, they saw it, a figure standing by the road, about 7 feet tall, with glowing red eyes. At first, they thought it was a man, but as they sped away, the creature spread massive wings and pursued their car, screeching all the while. They barely escaped, shaken and terrified. Over the next few weeks, more sightings were reported. Witnesses described a large, bird-like creature with a wingspan of 10 feet or more. Some called it a man-sized bird, while others swore it was something otherworldly. The creature became known as Mothman, and his presence seemed to bring doom. On December 15, 1907, the Silver Bridge, which connected Point Pleasant to Ohio, collapsed, killing 46 people. Many locals believe that Mothman was a harbinger of disaster, a warning from beyond. John Keel, a paranormal researcher, investigated the sightings and claimed there were even stranger events tied to Mothman: UFO sightings, mysterious men in black suits silencing witnesses, and other paranormal phenomena. His book, The Mothman Prophecies, brought the legend to national attention, but the town of Point Pleasant never forgot. Today, they celebrate Mothman with an annual festival and a museum dedicated to the creature. I once drove through Point Pleasant at night, passing the TNT area where Mothman was first seen. The silence was deafening, broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves. I half expected to see those glowing red eyes staring at me from the shadows. Even now, I can't shake the feeling that something is watching me whenever I'm alone in the dark. On September 12, 1952, in the small town of Flatwoods, West Virginia, a group of children and adults encountered something straight out of a nightmare. It began when two brothers, Edward and Fred May, and their friend Tommy Heyer, saw a bright object streak across the sky and land on a nearby hill. Curious, they gathered a group, including their mother, Kathleen May, and West Virginia National Guardsman Eugene Lemon, and went to investigate. What they found was beyond comprehension. On the hill, they saw a pulsing red light and a thick, sickening mist. As they approached, their flashlight illuminated a creature unlike anything they had ever seen. It was over 10 feet tall, with a spade-shaped head and glowing orange eyes. Its body was cloaked in what looked like a dark metallic dress, and its arms ended in twisted, claw-like hands. The creature hissed and glided toward them, levitating off the ground. The group fled in terror, some suffering from nausea and throat irritation for days afterward. The US Air Force investigated the incident as part of Project Blue Book, their UFO research program, but no definitive explanation was ever given. Some speculated it was a barn owl perched in a tree, its eyes reflecting light, but those who were there know better. The Flatwoods Monster became a local legend, and today the town embraces it with souvenirs and stories. I visited Flatwoods once, standing on the very hill where the encounter took place. The air felt heavy, as if the mist from that night still lingered. I couldn't help but wonder if the creature was still out there, waiting for its next victims. Deep in the Appalachian mountains, another creature stalks the night, the Wampus Cat. According to Cherokee legend, it was once a woman named Running Deer. She loved her husband, Standing Bear, a great warrior, but when he was chosen to hunt a demon called Ua, the spirit of madness, she feared for his life. Against the tribe's warnings, she disguised herself in a panther's pelt and followed him, hiding to watch the sacred ceremony. The tribal elders discovered her and cursed her, transforming her into a half-woman, half-cat creature doomed to wander the woods alone. The Wampus Cat is said to have glowing yellow eyes and a haunting cry that drives people to madness. Some describe it as a large panther with 6 legs, while others say it's half cat, half dog. In the early 20th century, newspapers reported sightings of a creature killing livestock in North Carolina and Georgia. And even today, people claim to hear its eerie howls in the mountains. I once camped in the North Carolina hills, near where the Wampus Cat is said to roam. That night, I heard a sound like no other, a low, guttural growl that seemed to echo through the trees. I shone my flashlight into the darkness, but all I saw were two glowing eyes staring back at me. I packed up and left before dawn, but I'll never forget those eyes watching me from the shadows. In 2011, a hiker on the Appalachian Trail had an encounter that still haunts him. He was walking alone when he noticed a figure standing by the trail, a man, or what was left of one. His skin was charred and blackened, as if he had been burned alive. The hiker froze as the figure turned its head, revealing empty sockets where eyes should have been. It stared at him, though it couldn't see, and began to move toward him, its movements jerky and unnatural. The hiker ran, but the figure followed, its footsteps echoing behind him. He later learned that years earlier, a family had died in a house fire near that spot. Was this the spirit of one of them, trapped in eternal torment, or something else entirely? The hiker never returned to that part of the trail, but he swears the scorched man is still there, waiting for the next unsuspecting soul. Van Deventer Shelter on the Appalachian Trail is known for its beauty and its terror. In the 1970s, a woman named Janice Balzer was murdered there, her body left to rot in the wilderness. Since then, hikers have reported strange occurrences, cries echoing through the night, footsteps in the empty shelter, and an overwhelming sense of dread. Some say they've seen a ghostly figure wandering the area, searching for peace or revenge. I once stayed at Van Deventer Shelter despite the stories. That night, I heard it, a soft sobbing, like a woman mourning her lost life. I shone my flashlight into the darkness, but there was no one there, just an empty trail and the weight of history pressing down on me. I didn't sleep that night, and I never will again. These are just a few of the true stories that prove Appalachia is a land of evil, where the past never truly dies. From the Bell Witch's vengeful spirit to the haunting cries of the Wampus Cat, these tales are more than just folklore. They are warnings. The mountains hold secrets, and sometimes those secrets come to life. So if you ever find yourself wandering through Appalachia, remember, you're never truly alone. Something is always watching, waiting for you to step into its domain.